and welcome to Farming Simulator 19 Beginner's Guide to Fertilizing. Now today we're just going to run through what the fertilizing is all about. Now we've got two different types of fertilizer machinery available. We've got the propelled version, which are these two, and then these are all trailers obviously, and then you have the other type, which this is on the back attacher and the front attacher. Now this one holds a liquid fertilizer and this one holds solid fertilizer. Now they do vary which ones they do hold. So if we go into the shop, and first of all if we go onto crop protection on vehicles, and you see there's the two what I've just showed you. You've got the starer, and that does, you see that you've got the symbols over on the right hand side, the lower right hand side, and you got the symbol for fertilizer, which is your solid, which is the one in the bag. Then the next one is at the in the container, sorry, and that's the liquid fertilizer. And then the last one is herbicide, and the herbicide is for killing weeds. We're not going to show you that today, but that's what that last symbol is. Now if we scroll over to the Rubicon, and this one will only do liquid fertilizer and herbicide. You see all the different, it tells you all the stats there. The Rubicon is the largest, it does 48.5 meters wide. It does hold 9,000 litres, which is quite a lot, and it's 370 horsepower. So it normally doesn't have a problem with the job. And the Starer is a little bit smaller, but it has got both types of fertilizer as well. It only holds 5,000 and it's 220 horsepower, and it's got the 27 meter spread on it. So it all depends on how much money you want to spend. Ideally the Rubicon is the fastest one. That one will work at 15 mile an hour. Right, going over to the pulled vehicles now. Now we want to go on to, and we got crop protection. Now these two, that was the tractor I showed you with the tank on the front. That can be liquid fertilizer or herbicide as well, and you can add that on, and that just, the first one is just a 1500 tank. The rear has got the sprayer attachment onto it, and it holds 1300, so you're just increasing what you can actually hold in there. Then we go on to the Hardy, which is the same thing again, 24 meter wide. That one's 21 meters wide, and you just scroll through. It's got all the different types, and all the ones in crop protection do fertilize and they do herbicide, so you can pick whichever one you want. Now if you want an even cheaper version, then you go down to fertilizer technology, and for instance the first one here, the current axis, that one will do solid fertilizer. As you can see by the symbol there, that's solid fertilizer with a 24 meter span. Now we come over to the next one. This one does solid fertilizer as well, but it also does lime. Now that's the symbol for lime at the side of it there, and they do a 12 meter spread, and there is an attachment where you can make that wider. Same with the next one up, it's just a larger capacity, and the next one up is a smaller one, but this one is a small version which does solid fertilizer, and it also will do lime. You normally need to do lime once you've ploughed a field, if you have periodic ploughing on, but that's my other video if you want to check that out, looking for the beginner's guide to ploughing. Then we got the last one, this one just does solid fertilizer. That's it. So you've got the two different fertilizers. They both do the same thing. Now to buy in the fertilizers, if we go to big bags first, and you can buy these bags just buy one of those. That's a big bag of fertilizer. Now that's obviously a solid fertilizer, and then we will buy it in the pallet form as well, just so I can show you that. And then the liquid form comes under the pallets, and there it is the first one. It is the fertilizer tank, so you buy one of those. And the next one across is the herbicide tank, so you don't want that one because that's for killing off the weeds, and that's a whole different video in itself. Right, so coming over, I've got the Starer set up. Now I've used the Starer because it's got it comes with a front weight. As it putting any implement on the back, you need to counterbalance it. Now to fill, for instance, so this pallet here is a liquid fertilizer, so you cannot put that in there. It won't accept it. But it will go into this one because this is a liquid sprayer. So to fill them up, it's exactly the same as the seeders. Now to fill them up, let's put the help window on so you can see what's going on with that. And we're alongside one of the big bags, and you can see it doesn't recognise it. If you open the cover, and it still doesn't recognise it, where you can't load them at the moment. There's a glitch with them, so you're better off just using pallets. Now that might get changed, hopefully it gets sorted out by the time you watch this video. So if we come over to this one, and as you can see on the menu there, it's come up refill fertilizer spreader. If we drive out, that disappears. So as soon as you get close enough to it, you just click the L3, or if it's well, this is for a PlayStation, so click L3, you can push L3 again, it's stop, and then we've got our fertilizer in there. Now it's exactly the same to empty it. So if this was released and this is what you had left over, then you push the R1 and do the triangle button, and it'll empty it. It'll put the pallet, leave the pallet there for you, so you can send it back and still have, otherwise you'll just lose it. So let's fill that one up. Now if you don't want to push the button alongside and you want to do more of a realistic gameplay, and you just need telehandler, whoa, nearly lost that. There we go. Then you just need a telehandler or a forklift, and you just come over to the back, and you see it just fills up, eases up. When it's empty, they just disappear. And there you have it. That's all ready to go. That one is. So let's take this back out over to the fields. Now, how do you know when to fertilise? Well, every field you plant needs to be fertilised twice, and if you haven't put the fertiliser in with the seed, then you will need to do it on 2 separate occasions. If you already put it in with the seed, then you will only need to do it once. So if we go into the menu, scroll over to the map, and we're on field number 31, and you can see it's growing. Click over to the soil composition. I turned off the ploughing because that's not relevant to us at the moment, and you can see that field 30 is darker blue and field 31 is the lighter blue, whereas field 30 has had 2 stages of fertilizer, so that field is ready to grow. We don't need to do anything with it, whereas this field we've got at the moment needs another fertilizer state. Now, as we only planted this earlier, I doubt it will let me put another fertilizer state on the top. So all we do is come up to that field, hold down the L1 button, turn on the fertilizer, and there it goes. You can see it. Now if it's taken, the colour changes, and half the time if you press the worker and he stops, then you're just wasting money. It's not doing anything. so it's not ready for fertilizer at the moment. So what do? We will go in and speed time up, put time on 120, and as soon as the crops appear, then we will be able to fertilize. And that's the first stage for the crops what have just come in. So we turn the time off. Now we scroll back over to the menu in the map and scroll back to growing we want, and as you can see now, the lower bit of that field is the darker green, so it's moved on to the next stage. So you've got 4 stages you can actually put this fertilizer in. You've got to get it in when it's in one of those green stages. If it's in any others, if it goes into the yellow ready to harvest, you won't be able to put the fertilizer down, which means you're going to lose 25% yield, because over in the help menu you scroll down, and here we got about improving yield. Now there it says spread fertilizer twice. Each time you put fertilizer you will get 25% each time. So that's the importance of doing it. So basically 2 fertilizers, you're going to get 50% more yield than you would if you didn't fertilize. So that is the main reason we do this. So that's at the next stage. So now we should be able to just come onto the field. Now I'll start the sprayer off, and as you can see the field is getting darker, and this is how you know where you've been and where you haven't been. Now if you want to use the worker, you just press the circle and the worker will just carry on and he will do that whole field. They're pretty good workers for doing fertilizing. They don't run into much trouble half the time, but it does pay to, on a longer field, set the worker off on the longest run, and he might stop just before the end of here. Let's have a look, see what he does. No, he's done the whole field. That's good. Sometimes if there's not enough to turn around, he might turn the fertilizer off there, so it leaves a little bit. So it always pays to put a strip across the top. And now the worker, he doesn't want to work. There we go. So that fertilizer is going down, and if you run out and you don't want to fill it up manually, then you can cheat this by just going into the menu. As you can see, if we set him back off, as soon as you start using the fertilizer, it's going down. See, it's on 3330, 329. So we turn that off. So if you've run out and you don't want to go back and get another pallet, you can go onto the game settings, sorry, and as you scroll down you've got helper, refill, fertilizer. If you turn that on, now what the helper will do, if we start the helper off, and you see the fertilizing going down, but the money is, so they're taking the cost of the fertilizer straight out of your money. Now if you get to the point where you haven't got any fertilizer in here whatsoever, you can get, the worker will work filling it up, but you can't. If you want to do it yourself, you have to go and put some more fertilizer into the fertilizer. Okay, and there he goes, he's off doing that again. So that's using the solid ones, and as you can see you can tell the difference. Some maps it does get a little bit, you can hardly tell the difference colour, but you can tell there with no problem. We click onto the map now and we'll scroll over to soil composition, and you can see the darker where we've actually fertilised. That's all you need to do. You can see where you've gone, and if you've missed a line, it will be the lighter blue. Now also using the twin wheels, if you've got crop destruction on, then it will minimise that. as it's less of a footprint on the field. That's the main reason you'll find that the narrows are for fertilising jobs and seeding. Now we move on to the liquid sprayer. Now this is exactly the same thing for filling it up. You just reverse backwards and you see it's on there now. It's because there's refill sprayer, pull forward, it disappears, come back, refill sprayer. So that starts filling up. If you want to fill it up a little bit, then push it again and it stop. There's 2,000 litres in these large pallets. Now if you want to do the front one, you put that next to it and there it comes up, refill additional tank. Click on that, fills the tank up. Job's a good one. Now the only difference in this type of fertilizer is it's got a huge boom. So we select onto the boom, I select the front, select the back, and then we unfold the sprayer, and this is how big she gets. You can see it's quite big now. So you just bring that over to the field, wherever you're going to start off. Of course we've fertilised there, so it's not going to let us fertilise. See the lighter area where we haven't fertilised. Now try to do a little bit of an overlap. You will learn over time how much you can get away with, because if you leave a line, then it's going to reduce your yield on that part of the line. So hold down the L1 button, turn on the sprayer. You can actually lift this one up and down as well, because sometimes if you're on a banked hill it will dig in, so if you put it up higher that'll help. Then we turn on the sprayer and there it is, it just comes out easy as that, and you see it's going down, and this is because I'm doing it myself. So if you do it yourself, the settings won't help you. The setting to refill, it won't refill it. It'll only refill it once you've got if you've got a worker. So if I press the worker button now, you can see it's still on 1832. So it does pay to leave a little bit in there. If you're using the worker, it pays to leave a little bit in there just in case they miss a bit and you need to go and fill a bit, fill in a little piece, because you will have to go back to the shop and get another pallet. Now with the workers with these booms, I did stop using these a while back because they were a little bit of a pain, whereas I found the solid fertilizer ones, they never had any problem, they just got on with the job and it was never an issue. Right, let's go and have a look at the larger self-propelled. So this one does herbicide, and it also does the liquid fertilizer, and this does liquid and solid and herbicide. So exactly the same again. To refill it, you just pull alongside. You can see it's recognised as a pallet down at the side of us with solid, so it's putting the solid in there. Now I can't remember if you can put solid and liquid at the same time. So we'd go over to the liquid one. Yep, we can on this one. It has got two separate tanks. So that there we've got liquid and solid. Unfold. Excuse me. So there we go, we're all unfolded, ready to go. We can turn on the sprayer, and the same before as the other one, it just turns on Now I think this one isn't ready for a fertilizer state. It's not quite ready for one yet, which is why if I set the worker, see the worker just ends. No, it's because it's already got one. That's why it won't take the state. So if you're fertilizing on top of this, all you're doing is wasting money. Simple as that. So this is quite a versatile one, being as the Rubicon does cost $500,000, but it works very well. This is the granddaddy. Refill that. The boom on this, we'll go and have a look. I'll show you what the boom is on this one. As soon as you end up buying one of these, you will do all your fertilizing with this because it is just so fast. For instance, this field here, I'll show you the unfolding. You'd see the wheels actually come out as well. And that is the Rubicon. Look at the size of that. 2 passes, field done. Simple as. Awesome bit of kit. And there you go. So we'll just go back over to the shop. These are the ones we got here. They're basically all do exactly the same. We have got the narrow wheels on here. And these ones are, I'm sure they are the liquid one. Yeah, they're the liquid fertilizer anyway. And this is a solid one. And you see it's got a different attacher on the back for the spreader. It's got a 6 meter spread on the back of that. So there you have it. That's all you really need to know on fertilizing. Try and keep up with the fertilizing because you're gonna lose yield otherwise. So you may as well fertilise. There's no point not to. 50% increase in your yield. So there you have it. That's how you do your fertilising. Right, well, if you find this helpful, please give me a like, and if you want to see more content, then hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to upload videos every day at least at the moment. I have got a beginners series which I've just beginners playlist, sorry, which I've just set up, and I'll be adding to that every day or so. If there's anything you want to see me do and I haven't done yet, then message me. I might even have a video on stockpile. I've got a few at the moment, and if it's something I need to show, then I will do one for you. Righto, well, thanks for watching. Till the next time, goodbye.